Good morning, or depending when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always told, out of Voice of Radio. So today, we need to take a little bit of a look at a new Hoopa card. Yeah, that's right, ladies and gentlemen. So we've got a new Hoopa coming out today, and of course our translation comes from the lovely Antoine Boulet. Stop me if you've heard that one before. So starting with the basics, we've got 120 HP, which is pretty good for a basic if I'm honest with you. It's up there with the Hoopa from Unified Minds that we all like so much. Oh no, wait, it's not. It's actually 10 less. And there are so many Pokemon out there that naturally do 120, stuff like Silvally, that it really is annoying when we see a Pokemon with 120, especially when other prints of that same Pokemon have had 130. Retreat cost of 2 does mean you've got Air Balloon, but don't forget we've got that hidden energy I showed you yesterday, I want to say, that when it's attached to a Darkness Pokemon is literally just a float stone. It reduces your retreat cost to 0. That's quite nice. And you've got a weakness to Grass here, and I'm not really terribly worried about it. I still think that Rillaboom decks, etc. will be good one day. I don't think Grass has gone forever. But I do feel fairly confident that Grass has gone for now. I'm not expecting Grass Pokemon to really do anything in the near future. Eventually, but not for a little while. And being a Darkness Pokemon, I mean, it's another basic Pokemon that you can use to back up Eternatus V Max. Remember, the ability there is a Sky Field. You can have 8 bench Pokemon, but only if you're playing only Darkness Pokemon. And it does 30 damage for each Darkness Pokemon you've got in play. So one really nice thing here, of course, is that this is just another basic Darkness Pokemon that you can have on the field to back up Eternatus V Max. And you've got Black Market Prism Star, so if you get KO'd with an energy attached, you don't lose anything. So, well, any prizes. So that's kind of nice. But is it actually worth playing, or do we have better cards to play with Eternatus? Well, what we've got here is 1 Darkness Energy, 90 damage. And single energy basic Pokemon 90 damage, hang on a second, that's a little bit over the top. There must be a downside, there is. If this Pokemon was not on your bench this turn, the attack does nothing. Do not apply weakness for this attack's damage. And for a lot of you, that is going to sound extremely familiar. It's Zapdos. It's literally Zapdos. Except it's got 10 more HP and does 10 more damage. It's better Zapdos. Basic Pokemon, single coloured energy, only works if it was on your bench and became active this turn. Although to be fair, if Zapdos stays active, it does 10 damage. This does nothing. But if it comes active, this does 90. Zapdos does 80, so I think that's a fair trade. I'll take that. And they will perform basically the same role. They are going to be decent, beefy Pokemon, but just like Zapdos, Hoopa doesn't hit for weakness, and that can be pretty relevant. Remember, Darkness Pokemon at the moment hit weakness on Psychic Pokemon, and there are going to be a few out there. One that springs to mind immediately for me is Indeedee V. Now, Indeedee V sees a little bit of play here or there. It did initially see play in Stonejourner decks, and essentially it just heals 20 from your active Pokemon. But you can stack this up so you can have 3 or 4 Indeedee out and be healing 60 or 80. Argument now that we've got a Milotic that will heal 20 from your Pokemon every turn. So there is a very, very strong argument that Milotic is just better. And Milotic incidentally heals 20 from each of your Pokemon. But then again, it is a stage 1, so, you know, swings and roundabouts. The point here is that against an Indeedee, 90 damage with weakness would actually go and get a one-hit KO. That is unfortunately not the case here. Dragapult, you were never going to get anyway. Dragapult's too far away. It's sitting there rocking 210. Even with a Vitality Band, you're only doing 200. But actually, no, this is relevant. Because, of course, you're generally going to be playing this in an Eternatus deck. You don't have to, but you're generally going to be playing it in an Eternatus deck. Which means you're probably going to be playing Galarian Zigzagoon that drops a damage counter when you play it. So this plus Vitality Band 100, double weakness 200 plus Galarian Zigzagoon, legitimate one-hit KO on a Dragapult V if you are hitting for weakness, which you're not. The point is very clearly, we are genuinely sad we're not hitting for weakness. Hitting for weakness, this would be a genuinely brilliant Pokemon, because you would have some really, really relevant things you'd be getting KOs on. Now, having said that, Zapdos didn't hit for weakness, and yet Zapdos was really, really good. Zapdos was really good. Now, admittedly, as tag teams got better and better, and HPs got bigger and bigger, Zapdos did go away a little bit, but it has remained a very good Pokemon that's been a one-of in an awful, awful lot of decks that have been playing Lightning Pokemon, so it's really quite good. Now, it is worth pointing out that Zapdos had Electro Power, and Electro Power was an item card that let you do an extra 30 damage on your attacks this turn, and that did actually really help to get that damage up there a little bit, in a way that you just don't really get with Hoopa so much. But you can use hidden energy here. And incidentally, this is, as far as I'm concerned, one of the best uses for hidden energy that we've seen so far. Because you need to get this in and out the active, it's got a retreat cost of 2. Now, admittedly, Air Balloon will do the trick quite nicely. It's hard to argue with Air Balloon. But you need to have 1 energy on there to attack, so you can essentially attach 1 energy, do the attack, and if you're not KO'd, free retreat next turn, and round we go. I really like this. I think as a single prize basic attacker in a Darkness deck, it's really good. Because you've got to ask yourself, what are you doing instead? And we've all been there, right? One of the best examples I can give you lately is Reshiram and Charizard. Reshiram and Charizard comes along, and 4 energy, 230 damage, that is gigantic. But if you don't have 4 energy on, you got 2 energy, 30 damage, plus 10 more for each damage counter on it, but you might not be damaged. And we look for non-GX Pokemon, and we end up with stuff like Victini Prism Star, but that's only really good when you got a discard pile full of energy. You do 20 for each basic energy in your discard, and then shuffle them all back in. And then Turtonator. Like, Turtonator legitimately saw play. Now, to be fair, Turtonator has a almost infinite damage cap. Free energy on it, you do 50 damage for each fire energy you discard from any of your Pokemon. So you can get up to big numbers, but what these big smashy decks often want is just a single energy basic to start picking off little Pokemon. Very much like we've seen Zapdos. If your opponent is playing around with Jirachi, and let's face it, Jirachi is a really good Pokemon that sees a huge amount of play, it's got 70 HP. You don't want to use your big 2 or 3 prize Pokemon, which you then have to leave in the active ready to take a hit, to take down a bloomin' Jirachi. You want something that can come in and just ping it nicely. Oh, look, in comes Hoopa. If your opponent is playing evolving Pokemon or little support Pokemon, something like Chinchino can be taken out using Hoopa. It's got 90 HP. And that's why you play. And incidentally, I expect Hoopa to see a lot of play. Eternatus decks should be really, really good. I expect Eternatus decks to be really, really good. So I do expect Hoopa to be played in all of them. Like, literally all of them. Because you're gonna need a single prize Pokemon that you can use to just kind of go up and poke little Pokemon until they go away. I don't think we've got any better than Hoopa. I don't think there is a single Darkness Pokemon out there that is a basic for 1 energy that can do better. Now, hang on a second, Wassy, I hear some of you say, what about Spiritomb? I love Spiritomb. I've gone on record on this channel many, many times about my love for Spiritomb. It's got an ability that lets you pop a damage counter on it every turn, and for 1 energy it does 10 damage plus 30 more for each damage counter on it. I adore Spiritomb. I've played a lot of Spiritomb since it came out. One of my favourite cards, legitimately. Actually one of my favourite cards. However, it takes a few turns to get rolling. And that's awkward. To be honest with you, it gets really, really awkward. And that's kind of the point. So that's where this comes in. It does better. It means you don't have to worry so much here. Yes, Spiritomb's got a better damage cap, and yes, Spiritomb is eventually a better Pokemon. But actually, initially, no, it's not. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry. So there we go. I really like Hoopa. I'm giving it 4 Wassies. I love it. It makes me really sad, right? Because if Hoopa and Zapdos both hit for weakness, we can start using stuff like Aurora Energy and building up a really nice multi-type deck, and that is exactly the kind of thing I'd play. It kind of has to not hit for weakness to not be broken, but the fact is, we are expecting Eternatus to be one of the very best decks in the format pretty much as soon as it comes out. And what we essentially see here is the perfect Pokemon to come in as a single energy, single prize Pokemon to start taking out little Pokemon of your opponent. So I'm kind of in love, but I'd like to know how you feel, so let me know in the comment section. Go nuts, be nice. And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at The Wassy, and Twitch for some live action at twitch.tv/PTCGRadio. If you want to support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all that good stuff, head on over to patreon.com/PTCGRadio, where you can do exactly that. And please do make sure you're checking out youtube.com/WassyPlays, where you can find out about a whole bunch of games that don't have Pokemon in, but are pretty gosh darned awesome nonetheless. But by far the most important thing as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.